Okay guys, today we're just going to be adding red to this guy. I was actually debating where I wanted to add red. I kind of like the way he looks right now, but we're going to go ahead and cover the top of the gun here. I guess the action area, the cover area there. So we're going to go ahead and add red there. Anywhere else we see fit. Today we're also going to go through and do our dry brushing. We're basically going to get the guys done or to a completed state. Then we're going to go over everything in the end, but we're going to do that now. Now I'm going to be using my larger 10 brush to be going over the main parts, the larger part of the gun here, because we're getting the more detailed stuff. Also, since we're using this red, it doesn't seem to cover very well, so I'm going to be laying it on fairly thick. And it looks like it's running fairly thin too compared to the other acrylics I used to use, so it may lose some of our detail from running into these lines, but that's okay. Getting around the thumbs here. I'm going to try not to get the front of the gun too much. Looks like I did a little bit, but like I said, these are quick paint jobs, so we're not going to be too worried about it. Alright, so let's just double check anywhere else where we may want red. And I think we're doing pretty good. I think that pretty much covers it. We got the eyes red, we got the gun. I'm really not sure there's anywhere else I need to cover as far as these guys are concerned. Alright, brush is cleaned off. Before we dry brush, remember always before you dry brush, you need to make sure that you've touched up everything you want to touch up. Dry brushing is going to be the very last thing that you do. So let's take a look here. I actually did a pretty good job. There's not a lot I want to touch up. I want to do a little bit more black on the backpack, but I'm not going to worry about it for now. It's fairly minute, so we're just going to avoid that. And we're just going to go straight into dry brushing. So, alright, so to begin dry brushing, we're actually going to be dry brushing with two colors. We're going to be dry brushing with our light green, which is the light version of course, our dark green. And we're actually going to be dry brushing with our silver. Our silver is going to need to be lighter, but we'll deal with that in just a moment. And for now, let's go ahead and start with our light green. Now for dry brushing, I'm not going to be using my round brush. I'm going to be using my flat brush here. You need a flat side, thin side, flat side, thin side. No, it doesn't look that thin, but it's relatively flat. And you're going to be wanting to take your flat brush and going across the model. You don't want it to go this way. This way. There you go. So we're going to get some paint on there. There we go, and I'm actually going to rub off most of this. Rub it off right there. Rub it off to the point you barely can't, you can barely see it. Like it's almost gone. We've gone from this way to this way. I'm going to go ahead and take this and we're going to start applying it. And I'm mainly going to be applying this to detail areas, and I'm going to be going against the grain. Now what I mean by this is I'm actually trying to rub paint off on the edges where the detail is. And I'm trying to get that detail to really shine through. And I can take some of this paint that was excessive here. Just keep using that. Don't even have to go back to the bottle. Now you're not looking for a big coating of this stuff. I mean, you're looking for basics, just to barely cover it. Oh, you're actually, technically, you're not even really looking to cover anything. You're just looking just to get some on there, give a little bit more texture, a little more detail to those harder to reach areas. And as you can see on the face here, because I'm dry brushing, I should essentially be able to go directly over the face without having to worry about anything because it's so light. It's really not a big deal to cover up or hit anything else because I'm not hitting hard enough for it to rub off on solid surfaces. So yeah, there we go. I think we about got him complete. Actually, yeah, I think we're done as far as dry brushing on that guy. Alright, now we're going to move on to dry brushing with silver. Now the silver is going to be very bright. We're only going to be using this on the backpack because it's super dark right now. It's just black, so we want to bring out some more of that detail. So once again, we're going to get rid of all of our brush, and we're actually going to be extra diligent about this when it comes to the silver because it's such a contrast to the black that it's going to show up a lot more. So I'm really going to rub this out of the brush. And all I got to do is go over this very, very lightly, and we're already seeing the detail really pop on this backpack here. Now the reason why I'm using silver is, to simulate the idea of it's painted black, there's, a silver machine underneath and it's being worn down. I mean, technically I could actually use silver and go over the whole model and still get a pretty good look, but I typically go with just the lighter of whatever the dark color is. So I'll say that's done. And that's how quick it is to dry brush. You really don't need to spend a whole lot of time dry brushing. Dry brushing really shouldn't take you more than 2 to 3 minutes per, the side. Not even 2 to 3 minutes, like 20-30 seconds per model. That's tops. That's long. So I've cleaned out our brush here. Got some paint on our table, but that's okay. Alright, and just as a show of comparison, looking at these 3 models, we have our model here that's basically just primer and just our green base coat. We can see with just 2 colors, and he still looks pretty basic. Not quite there yet, not quite done. But I mean, at least he's together, and at least he's got some form of color scheme going on. So we'll go ahead and put him back over here. Then we have our next guy, who just has silver, and we added red eyes. So we're looking at 3 colors now, besides our base coat. Looks alright, looks pretty good. I mean, if you ask me, that's play worthy right there. This guy, can be used, not too bad. But then, we just add a little bit of dry brushing. That's basically all we added, the little red to the front of the gun, and then we get this guy. Look at a little bit of color with the front of the gun there, which is nice. You go to the back here, and you can really see how that backpack stands out. Here, I'll do another comparison. I'll bring this one closer. There you go. This is what we added for doing a 5-second dry brush in difference. You can see it in the legs there. You can see it in the backpack. Move up front. You can see how it's in the head. His head stands out more. He seems more there. That's a really nice advantage to have. So always dry brush. It doesn't take that much time, and it really brings out the detail in your models.